From Scottish folk and fairy tales, these are stories about foxes. The Fox Outwitted. One day a fox succeeded in catching a fine fat goose asleep beside the loch. He held her by the wing, and making a joke of her cackling and hissing and fears, he said, "Now, if you had me in your mouth as I have you, tell me what would you do?" Why, said the goose, "that's an easy question. I would fold my hands, shut my eyes, say grace, and then I would eat you." Just what That's what I mean to do, said Rory the fox, folding his hands and looking very demure. And as he said his pious grace with his eyes shut. But while he did this, the goose spread her wings, and she was now halfway over the loch, so the fox was left to lick his lips for supper. "I will make a rule of this," he said in disgust, "never in all my life to say grace again till after I feel meat warm within my belly." The fox troubled with fleas. The fox is much troubled by fleas, and this is the way in which he gets rid of them. He hunts about until he finds a lock of wool, and then he takes it to the river and holds it in his mouth, and so puts an end of it to his brush into the water, and then he lets it go slowly. The fleas run away from the water until at last they get over the fox's nose and into the wool. And then the fox dips his nose under and lets the wool go off into the stream. The fox and the bagpipes. The fox, being very hungry one day, found a bagpipe and proceeded to eat the bag, which is generally, or was till lately, made of hide. And there was still a remnant of breath in his bag, and that when the fox gave a bit of a drone and a groan, and when the fox is surprised, but not frightened, it says, "Here is meat and music." The Fox's Stratagem. The fox is very wise indeed. I don't know whether it is true or not, but an old fellow told me that he had seen him go to a loch where there were wild ducks and take a bunch of heather in his mouth, and then go into the water and swim down in the wind until he got to the middle of the ducks. And there he let go of the heather and killed two of them. The Fox and the Wrens. A fox had noticed for some days a family of wrens off in which he wished to dine. He might have been satisfied with one, but he was determined to get the whole lot, the father and all his 18 sons, and also that he could not tell one from the other, or the father from the children. "It is no use to kill one son," he said to himself, "because an old rooster will take a warning and fly away with the 17 of his children. I wish I knew which one was the old gentleman." He sat there with his wits to work about him, and then one day, seeing them all in a barn, he sat down to watch them, but still he could not be sure. "Now I have it. Well done to the old man's stroke, and he hits true," he cried. "Oh," replied the one he suspected of being the head of the family, "if you had seen my grandfather's strokes, you might have said that." The sly fox then pounced on him and ate him up in a trice, and then soon caught and disposed of all 18 the sons, all flying in terror about the barn. The Fox and the Rooster. A fox met one day a rooster, and they began talking. "How many tricks can you do?" said the fox. "Well," said the rooster, "I can do 3. How many can you do yourself?" "I could do 63, said the fox. "And what tricks can you do?" said the rooster. "Well," said the fox, "my grandfather used to shut one eye and then give a great shout." "I can do that myself," said the rooster. "Do it," said the fox, and the rooster shut one eye and crowed as loud as he could and ever, and he shut his eye that as he went to the fox gripped him by the neck and ran away with him. But the wife to whom the rooster belonged saw him and cried out, "Let go of the rooster, he's mine." "And say you, he is my own rooster," said the rooster to the fox. And then the fox dropped his mouth to say as the roosters did, and he dropped the rooster and sprung up to the top of the house and shut one eye and gave out a loud cry. And that's all there is to tell you of that tale.